If you're quiet, the master won't see you or hear you. We can sneak in and watch him work.
Welcome, miniature fans. I have been asked by loads of people if I can start doing Wizkid miniature painting tutorials. So here I am. Now I'm going to be keeping these tutorials on a weekly basis, so every Friday I will do a Wizkids miniature video, but I'm going to keep them as simple as possible for the beginner painter, going up to a tabletop standard in painting quality. So what I'll do is each week I will show the miniatures that I'm painting for my patrons. This week will be the polar bear, and I will show you the colours I am using. So today I'm using Vallejo colours. I'm using Vallejo gold white, sky grey, black and red, and these are the only colours I will need to complete this paintwork today. If we need anything else as we go along painting this miniature, then I will add that to the video, but it's a very simple paint and we shall make a start now. The first thing you do once you've opened your blister pack from Wizkids is you check over the miniature for any mould lines or flaws in the miniature, and they can be quite easily repaired. You can remove the mould lines with a file, so that's not a problem. But what it is with the Vallejo miniatures, they've already been pre-primed with a Vallejo primer, so you don't need to prime your miniatures. But on some of the Wizkids miniatures you do need to remove some mould lines. Now if that's the case, you can actually get the primer, the grey primer that they use, and you can recoat. Now let me find my surface primer. There we are. This is the surface primer from Vallejo. So if you need to reprime your miniatures where you've taken away the mould lines, this is the colour you're looking for. So once you've got your miniature all prepped up and it's all primed, you've taken away any mould lines that are a little bit off, just reprime with this surface primer and you are good to go. Simple as that. Now the next stage is we have some super glue, and I use the Precision Max super glue. This is the liquid super glue, and what we do, we just stick all these miniatures to the bases, and what I'm going to do then is I'll come back and we can start painting. So let's make a start painting. Now I've got a nice dry brush from Army Painter, and this is going to be a super quick easy paint. What I'm doing, I'm going straight into that sky grey, and I'm going to dry brush my miniature. I'm taking the paint off the paintbrush and I'm going straight across the whole miniature. This is just to highlight certain parts of the bear. Very, very simple. Just going straight over. And that's all we need to do. This is just to make a start. Boom, 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 boom. Now I'm adding a tiny bit of that white. I'm going to mix that on my tissue so it's a lighter grey. Again, over all the fur. You can start to see the fur to get lighter now. And what we do is we keep on building up that white, adding a bit more white to that grey, taking it off, back on. And what happens is that grey starts becoming the shading to the fur, and the fur starts popping out and becoming the polar bear white. Again, back into the white. Just a tiny bit of grey from the tissue, and we're highlighting again. Lovely. Now, once again, back into the white, tiny bit of the grey that's on the tissue. We're keeping the underside of the bear quite dark, so that's where we want the shading. And now I'm going directly into that white, and it's just pure white now, and this is for the final highlights to that fur. Just go straight across, so that grey is still coming through, but you're getting a lovely fur effect. There we are. That's all we need to do for our little polar bear fur. Perfect. Now I'll let that dry and we'll come back to the next stage. Okay, so now we're moving on to the black and the red. Very simple. We're just going into the black, and we are going to paint his little nose. Like so. We are going to add his eyes. We are going to add a little bit of black to the insets of his ears. And we are going to paint all his claws. Very simple, just a little black along each claw. Oh, my thumb's in the way. There we go, try that again. 1, 2, 3. Just like so. And we're going to do that to all our bears. I'm going to just give my little paintbrush a little wash and a little twirl on my tissue. And what we're going to do now is we shall go straight into that red, and this will be for the inside of the mouth. Very, very simple. And there we are. Polar bear. So I will get all these little polar bears done and I'll come back. Now, if you're a beginner, I would recommend you stop here. This would be perfect for your tabletop games. You've got the bear, you've got the eyes, and most of all the details looking fantastic. This is a super little miniature. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with my painting, and I'm going to show you the finished miniature on how I would get this to a tabletop standard. I'm trying to keep these videos simple for beginners to start painting their Wizkids miniatures to a very basic standard, and then as you progress you can continue to a more higher tabletop level in quality. So here is the finished Wizkids Polar Bear. This will be the first of many Wizkids miniatures videos I'll be doing in the future, and there will be every Friday now. I shall be doing a Wizkids video on their miniatures, and I'll be showing you a basic way to paint the miniature and then a finished tabletop standard way, like I've done here with the polar bears. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I hope you join to see the next show. If you enjoy what I'm doing, then please hit that sub button. If you want to support the channel, then please become a patron. All patrons are added to the end credits of all my videos. I also have a YouTube membership, and you can also join me there. So until next time.
Goodbye, my fellow ones. Sleep well. Dream of evil paintbrushes.